everybody, and welcome to the Petri Dish. We are here at Ignite in Orlando, and I am here with Quadrotech. And Quadrotech, what brings you to Ignite?
Well, my name's Alan. I'm VP of Product at Quadrotech. We have a very close alignment with Microsoft and with Ignite, so we here every year. This is my fourth Ignite, but we're really here to sort of show off what we have and help customers move data into Office 365 and then manage it when it's up there. We're launching three new products here. I can't even remember. I should run product management. I should know what we're doing. We're launching a new tenant-to-tenant migration product. So we've got a long history of migrating people from on-premises systems up into the cloud.
Sure.
And it made sense for us to kind of help people who are trying to move data, merging acquisitions, that kind of thing, dragging data from one tenant into another. And another great thing at the moment, Ignite, they've launched the multi-geo for the Office 365.
Yeah, I saw that.
A lot of people were trying to solve that problem before by having multiple Office 365 tenants. And now they don't need that anymore. They can just drag them both in, all their tenants into the same place, use that multi-geo feature there. I think it's a great time to be launching that kind of thing. So
when it comes to moving like that, what are some of the downfalls or pitfalls that you see people, like what are people doing that is incorrect? Or if you were going to offer some advice and say, hey, we're going to move from on-prem up to Office 365, we're going to go full cloud, what advice do you have for them?
Well, I think you need to pick your right tools, because there's not just email in mailboxes, right? You've got emails in archives, PST files, you've got SharePoint.
Sure.
There's a lot of different moving parts, and it's all integrated now in Office 365. It's all on, no longer individual workloads. So you need to make sure you move all of your users at the same time. People have got delegates in their mailboxes. And we have tools that help people sort of figure that out as well. But it's really important that you plan the migration properly. I mean, you can't just do it all over a weekend usually. It's a little bit impossible with 30,000 people in your organization.
It'd probably end poorly.
Yeah, and then that's just make sure you're planning it, using the right vendors, the right tools, the right partners to sort of people who've done it before, because there's going to be things you haven't thought about.
Yeah, and so at what point do you say, hey, maybe we should stop thinking about doing on-prem for somebody who's holistically on-prem today? And when does that migration, or when should they start thinking about going to the cloud?
Each organization is different. There are a lot of things blocking some organizations from moving up. Their financial organizations have these weird and wonderful regulations about where they keep their data. But I think, to be honest, it would be obvious you want to move when your business is right. You've got some servers coming end of life. That'd probably be a great time to move. You want to take advantage of some of the new functionality in Office 365 you don't get on-premises, Teams, that kind of thing. That would be a great time to take advantage of it.
Gotcha. And so obviously Office 365, it seems like it's doing all right for Microsoft. I'd say they're headed in the right direction. What are you seeing in the Office 365 world? What's hot right now? What's going on?
Well, for us, I've been doing Office 365 stuff since 2011, and it was really the early adopters that went first. They were testing the waters. They wanted to try the newest things. But now we're seeing some big companies, like big banks and things, starting to use it. So obviously, something's going right for Microsoft if these kind of organizations are going in. So it's really more about the more mature organizations, the more risk-averse organizations are now happy with what Microsoft have done on a compliance thing. There's a lot of other third-party tools. We've got our own sort of auditing and security tools. We've got our own management tools that help these bigger organizations solve some of the gaps that may be in Office 365 otherwise. Yeah,
security is obviously a big thing with the Equifax breach. So from a security side of the world, what are you guys doing? What's going on over there that you see with Office 365? Because that's a little bit different of a tooling that we would see in like 10 years ago. You think classically a breach, and they come down, they download our hard drive and walk away. But with Office 365, that changes things up a little bit. So how does security differ with what you guys are doing?
Well, I mean, the cloud is really convenient. You can access it from anywhere, but you can also hack it from anywhere. So it's really important that you have, your information under control. You've got to make sure you've set your permissions correctly, that you've got auditing enabled so when something does happen, you know exactly what someone touched, which data was accessed.
Sure. And
we have tools that help sort of enable all that sort of thing, and then also report and alert on suspicious activities with our Quadrotech radar reporting. And we now have a new Office 365 management tool, which actually allows you to create delegated admin rights to different users. So you can give your admins restricted control over a certain subset of users, which reduces that attack footprint. You don't have to give them Office 365 admin rights anymore.
Gotcha. And you kicked this off by saying you guys have a couple new products here.
Yeah.
What are you guys announcing today?
So it's the tenant-to-tenant migration product called Cloud Commander, which helps people move mailboxes and data from one tenant into another for mergers and acquisitions. We've got Quadrotech Autopilot, which is our Office 365 management tool. We're trying to bring in the on-premises sort of ideas of OUs, organizational units, group policy objects into the cloud. And a lot of these enterprise customers are missing that functionality in Office 365. We're helping them out with that.
Gotcha. That's very, very, very cool. Actually, I love Office 365 because it's almost like the poster child for Microsoft. They've transitioned. Obviously, we all know the story now of software as a service, but Office 365 came out and it was just kind of like, whoa, like you are quite literally changing what we know of. Like, here's a couple $100. I'm going to take this license home, put it in the safe, and I'm going to have this forever. And so you guys have been always, if you've been on the leading edge of this stuff since what? You said 2011?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so during that life cycle, what's the biggest change that you have seen occur?
It's really become more about, like you said, it's no longer buy a server, spend a whole boatload of money, and then just put it in the corner and don't really matter anymore. You're paying for users per month, so it's really important that you understand who's joining and leaving your organization. You want to make sure that you're optimizing your license spend and your adoption to make sure that you really are kind of figuring out what each employee needs individually and buying the right license for them. It's a very different kind of world now. It's no longer buy once every 4 years.
And I'm curious to see, do you see a lot of companies overspending on Office
Absolutely.
365?
Microsoft, we're at a Microsoft conference, can't bag them too much, but their salespeople get paid for selling licenses, and they just try and sell a bunch of E5 licenses.
Sure.
But some people in the factory, or maybe people who are driving trucks, mainly need SharePoint Access Exchange licenses. So it's really about getting the right mix in your organization, depending on people's jobs.
Gotcha. And if people want to learn more about you and your company, what's the best way to find you?
Well, if you're at Ignite, come down. We've got a big booth. It's got a nice spinny hat on it that says Quadratech. I'll be there all week. Come and say hi, or just go to quadratechit.com and have a look there.
Well, fantastic. We very much appreciate you stopping by the Petri Dish, and you can always find out more on petri.com, and we'll catch you right back here next time. Thanks for tuning in.